StoryCorps' The Military Voices Initiative records and honors the stories of veterans, service members, and military families, ensuring their voices are heard and preserved for generations. Recording a conversation with a loved one or sharing personal reflections can be a powerful and memorable experience. Participants receive a copy of their conversation and have the option to archive it in StoryCorps' online archive and the Library of Congress. Very excited to tell you that WBGO and StoryCorps are inviting local veterans, military, and military families to participate in an upcoming audio recording event in the WBGO studios in Newark. StoryCorps is a nonprofit organization that aims to record, preserve, and share these stories from all backgrounds and beliefs. Its mission is to help us believe in each other by illuminating the humanity and possibility in us all, one story at a time. And joining us to talk about the Military Voices Initiative is Justin Cummins, the StoryCorps manager of the Military Voices Initiative. Great to see you, Justin.
Great to see you as well. Thank you for having us on.
Absolutely. And also joining us is Michael D. Bowl, president of the New Jersey Veterans Network. Michael, thanks for being here.
Good morning, and thank you for this opportunity to share today.
Absolutely. So, StoryCorps is something that Newark is very familiar with, as WBGO has partnered with StoryCorps in the past, Justin. Why did StoryCorps believe that this Military Voices initiative had to take place?
Originally, StoryCorps launched the Military Voice Initiative in 2013. Our CEO, Sandra Clark, is the one who was the driving force behind that. And she came from a military family herself. And with all the work we've done, StoryCorps started in 2001. We were collecting all these oral histories of everyday people. And she asked the question of why do we not have something for our veterans and our military families in these communities? Because oftentimes, these voices do go unheard. It's people do their service and then that's it. And she saw the importance in it. And our CEO, or our founder, Dave Isay, believed the same thing. And so they put a lot of commitment and time into getting this program going. And now we've been running since 2013.
You and I spoke before we started the interview, Justin. We're both lovers of history. You have the Ulysses S. Grant picture behind you here for those that can see it, and you have a lot of other memorabilia from military time period. So it is so important to document these stories because many times for us, we don't know the inside stories to our veterans. And so StoryCorps has been doing this. And this year, also Tampa is one of the locations that you have done, and Indianapolis, and now Newark. This is exciting stuff, Justin.
Yeah, I mean, every year we partner with three cities and with a local NPR station in each one of those cities. And we look for veteran organizations, the veteran community, seeing which communities are, really building foundations for the veterans, military families, and doing the work on the ground. And I like to showcase that. And we love coming into communities that are already like well founded and have those great foundations. Projects like Michael's with the New Jersey Veterans Network. I mean, the work they're doing already is insurmountable. So being able to come in here or go in there and be able to uplift the voices that of these veterans who are doing these hard, jobs of connecting people and getting people together. It's a great thing to build off of.
Michael Bohl has dedicated his entire life to charity and helping others. Following graduation from Union High School, he enlisted in the U.S. Marine Corps and served in Operation Desert Storm, and now, as we mentioned, is the president of the New Jersey Veterans Network. I'm sure that this was an easy sell for you to be a part of the Military Voices Initiative, right, Michael?
Oh, absolutely. We've done something similar where we had Vietnam veterans and Korean War veterans come to schools and actually speak to the students. So they are unfortunately passing at this time, and the importance of this to keep this archive would be so important, and we could share it with so many people. So we would be honored to be a part of this and jumped on board almost instantaneously.
Your organization, Michael, is really a one-stop shop for veterans. Tell us how you've been able to help save lives, actually.
Well, one of the most important things is our charity has no ego. We work with anyone else in other organizations who have the same common mission. We aggressively seek out veterans and provide them free resources. One of the things that we're able to do is give away cars, housing, food, clothing. But the most important thing is our mentorship program, where we have peer support and where we're able to provide life-saving treatment. We have therapists on board. We're one big team where we're able to get people the resources they need almost as quickly as possible.
What's the one story that Michael Bowl would want to tell people? Obviously, serving in Operation Desert Storm, but tell us if you had one story to tell people as part of this Military Voices initiative, what would that be?
Veterans who are able to share their story becomes a therapy for them. And this is so important to let their families know what they've been through. And it is hard sometimes to do it face to face. We feel that when you're doing it in a private setting, you're very comfortable to be able to speak about your experiences. It is a therapeutic thing for you, and also very, very important for your family to understand what you've been through. So that's why we really understand this a little bit more than other groups and really want to be a part of this.
For a while, I was a member of um, a softball team that was made up of all Vietnam veterans, and we would talk briefly about certain things, but then there were certain things that they wouldn't discuss and wouldn't talk about. And Justin, as Michael just mentioned, having that private setting, the way StoryCorps has you sit down and talk about your stories, it's inviting, it's intimate, and it's a welcoming thing. Talk about how it works, Justin.
Yeah, I would love to. So, whenever you sign up, you'll come to the WBGO station. You're going to go into a recording room where you're going to see two mic stands set up. You're going to have a facilitator who is a trained facilitator. They've done hundreds of these conversations. They're going to get you situated and get you like uh, in your seat, adjust the mic stands for you guys, and then they'll do a quick sound check. We're also going to provide questions for y'all if y'all would like, but ultimately the questions are up to you, and you can come in with a pre-prepared sheet. Um, Once the conversation gets going, though, the facilitator just kind of removes himself from the conversation completely. We like to instill like a sense of intimacy between the two people who are participating, rather than having a third party there interjecting, asking questions. Um, and you'd be surprised how quickly the mics disappear, how quickly the facilitator disappears, and you're just having a conversation with someone that you love, and it's a dedicated time to talk about whatever it is you want to talk about.
Every semester, when I'm teaching college classes, my first assignment is to go and seek out one of the elder members of your family and do an interview with them and find out about their history, find out about their past, and record it. I did that with my dad, not only for a show here on WBGO for a sports jam, but you find out so much that you didn't know. So for me to find out a little bit more about Spike in the U.S. Marine Corps, something that I'm so proud that he was a member of the Marines. Michael, you too. When it comes to pride, it's a big thing, and every time I see a person with a veteran's hat, I do take the time and say thank you for your service. What does that mean to veterans, Michael?
It means a lot to know that people still care about what they've done while they've been in the service. And sometimes some veterans feel a little bit uncomfortable, but I tell them, hey, the person's being very sincere, and you should be very happy to know that there's people that care about you. So I feel that more people should understand what veterans go through, and they could say that and really mean it and feel it.
One of the beautiful things about the Military Voices Initiative, it's not just veterans, but families. of veterans too, because they have their own stories. Sometimes, you know, missing their family members or maybe losing a family member during wartime or whatnot. Michael, for the families that you help, what do you want to say about the military families, what they have had to endure and how difficult it is to be a member of a family that has a veteran?
One of the most important thing is to get the families on board as well to have us join our team because the families get to meet other veterans and let them know what they experience. So the families actually can help save lives as well because they're becoming part of our unit and then they're able to speak to the veterans who actually have had some hard times telling them what they've both been through is very therapeutic for both of them. So it's hard. It's hard for these families because sometimes they get abandoned, and you have to make sure that you include them just as much as you do the veterans that we're helping because they've been through so much as well. They've served. They've served as well.
Justin, what has been the most surprising story or response that you have got from a veteran or a member of a veteran's family?
It's hard to narrow it down. I mean, I get to meet so many great people, veterans, military families, in all of my travels and every time I go to a new city. But I think one of the most touching ones was most recently. We had three veterans come in, and all of them served, all of them from the same community. And they're both older in years now. And they just sat there and talked like no time has passed whatsoever. And it really shows the bond that they still have. They talked about how they spend time with each other's families, and they're from different backgrounds. And it really shows how amazing the military like culture, family response, like it's just intertwined really greatly. And I think a lot of people, going back to what Michael said about, bringing the families in and getting them involved, military families, they laugh, they fall in love, they grieve, they rebuild, they serve in silence, and they carry what many will never see. And it goes the same for our veterans, but the military families are the ones that are going to push the veteran to participate in programs, to seek out, help or to seek out community. Because once you leave the service, that that just kind of falls away. You're so used to it being right there in your face while you serve. And then you kind of lose yourself a little bit.
Michael, we have the New Jersey Veterans Network and we have other organizations that help veterans, but let's be honest, veterans and the elderly are not treated like they should be in the United States.
We really like to push the initiatives at the shelters and really spend time at the memorial homes and really going out there and showing our older veterans that they are not forgotten. We like to bring in younger groups to come in as well. So we go to these locations pretty much weekly. We go to all different ones and really show them that they were there for them. We host a lot of recreational therapy events at these locations, but trying to get the younger community in. Unfortunately, during COVID and after, there's a lot of restrictions, so we do our best to work through that, but we do not make sure that they're not forgotten and never ever going to not have anyone there for them. We're going to make sure that we step up and do that.
Justin Cummins, you mentioned it early in this interview when you talked about why wasn't there a StoryCorps collecting voices from the military? And it makes sense. Can this initiative open a lot of doors to more federal programming and funding of military operations and military families that are so deserving of their time and aid?
I believe it can. I mean, it's a hard thing to speak about right now, with, current things that are going on. But ultimately, those who serve our country deserve our attention. They deserve the funding that keeps things going, whether it be from, private donors or from, federal grants. And I think we're going to see in the future that the more we get these programs out there and show people that we're doing this type of work, the more awareness it's going to bring and the more funding that will be put into these types of programs.
We only have a few veterans left from World War II. Um, and that's why, it's crucial to hear from anybody from that time period. But wherever you have served in whatever capacity, get your story out there. So we want to tell you about some of the opportunities that there are here when it comes to the Military Voices Initiative. So NVA will host in-person recording days at WBGO. That's 54 Park Place or Sarah Vaughan Way, July 30th through August 3rd. And you'll be able to register on the website, WBGO's website. Virtual recording days are August 6th through the 10th. Once again, that's the virtual recording. So you can do it in person, and that would be the most ideal because that's the way StoryCorps is really set up. And virtual recording days for those who have trouble getting out would be August 6th through the 10th. So important, right, Justin, that we get a huge response here in Newark.
It is. And not to put too much of an urgency on it, but we only have 25 slots. So once those 25 slots are filled up, there is no room right now to add more. So if you would like to sign up, please do. And then there are also other ways that you can participate. Um, you can also download the StoryCorps app and interview a loved one or a veteran that you know.
This may be a strange question for you, Justin, but if you could go back in time and interview someone from a past time, uh, a past war, what would that be? What time period would it be for you? I know you love history, so
How do you narrow that down? Just because I got his photo behind me, I think interviewing Ulysses S. Grant would be extremely interesting. And to see what his like mentality, thought process, and what was going on in the current time.
yeah, I'd have to agree that it would have to be somebody from the Civil War because that was such a unique circumstance, brothers against brothers, uh, and just to this day still having, ramifications of what took place. Michael, give us a little bit more about Operation Desert Storm for you.
So I was in the 6 Motor Transport Battalion, and our job was to drive anything from bombs to clothing, food, any supplies up to the different locations throughout the entire country. And I also got to ride co-pilot with someone from a different country. I was their bodyguard, so I got to learn the culture and really be embedded with so many different people and really learning so much over there. So it was a great experience, and I got to bring it home and it helped me with my life.
Before we talk about your 25-year career in law enforcement, why did you want to be with the U.S. Marine Corps?
Hollywood has definitely had a factor growing up with Rambo and all these other type of action movies, but it was something I always wanted, and I actually wanted to be a Marine. That was no way I was thinking anything else. I couldn't wait. I joined immediately after high school, and it was the greatest decision I've ever made in my life.
What do you take with you in your law enforcement career that you learned as a member of the U.S. Marine Corps?
Both jobs are extremely similar. It's the unit, it's working together as a team, something bigger than yourselves aspect that I love the most. Being part of that really helped me move on with my life. I understand how both work. The Marines are the best of the best, and bringing that to the police department, I was able to do some really wonderful things because of that.
Yeah, with the police department, the Union Police Department, great career that you've had, uh, offering assistance to several specialized units and fundraising campaigns too. I mean, you are certainly someone, as I mentioned at the top, dedicated your life to charities, and congratulations on all the hard work that you have put forward there. As we gather these stories, We know that there are times when service members come back. You had mentioned getting back into, regular life, you could say, has always been a struggle for military members. Justin, people telling stories, maybe it's a catharsis, it's a cleansing, it's a healing process that goes on, correct?
Yeah, I mean, being able to actually sit down and process, whatever it is that you went through. All veterans are different. Not all veterans serve in combat roles or are deployed and stuff like that, but it doesn't make that transition any less hard for them. I mean, you go from knowing exactly where you are and what your rank is and where you fit in and having a community around you that is as tight knit as can be to not knowing what direction to go in, not having anyone tell you what direction to go in anymore. And that's hard. I mean, but if you can sit there and process it and talk about it and let someone in to have that conversation, then a lot of people afterwards, especially with this Military Voices Initiative, a lot of people after they leave the conversation, they'll write me and say, man, like I feel better. I feel more connected to my partner. I understand, through their eyes even better. And that's an amazing thing.
Yeah, it really is. And as it already had talked about, very powerful. Michael, anything you'd like to leave us with, either with the network or with the Military Voices Initiative?
I think this military initiative, it needs voice initiative needs to be really pushed harder. As soon as I met Justin, I felt that we need to really help this because, like Justin said, this is therapy for veterans. It really does help the families, and we need to archive the stories because the veterans from World War II are not going to be with us too much longer, and they have an amazing story to share. And just being able to hear your family's voice from years from now and really learn about your family members is so important, especially the ones who served. So we will do whatever we can to help with this initiative.
So, Justin, the online archive and the Library of Congress, can you tell us a little bit how some of these interviews may make it to that point?
All of them will, depending on the participant's decision. After they are done recording, they get to determine whether they want to release this interview to be stored on our online archive. That's at storycorps.org. Or and also sent to the Library of Congress. People have complete autonomy on what they decide, but once the interview is collected, it will be uploaded to the archive as well as sent a copy of the Library of Congress and a copy sent to both participants. And it'll be there forever. I mean, long-term storage. I mean, I don't think you can ask for anything better than that for your legacy to go on.
It's a wonderful thing. MVI will host in-person recording days at WBGO July 30th through August 3rd, and then virtual recording days are August 6th through the 10th. Justin, thanks for joining us today, and congratulations on the Military Voices Initiative, especially here in Newark.
I appreciate that.
Michael, thank you for your service, and congratulations on all the work that you've been doing, not only as a veteran, but a member of the Union Police Department. Your life is always about helping others.
Thank you for having this opportunity to have me today, and God bless the United States of America.